Well, see, I was one of the boys who went to Shroove school. I went to the old school for a year, I think, and then went over to the new school. And one thing I hated about school, because before we went to school, we were running around the farm up in Carryhugh, running around the farm. And those days, everybody was keeping an eye on you. See, my mother and father kept an eye on us. See, my grandfather and granny, and then all the neighbours. See, so you didn't get up to too much badness. But the thing was, you were allowed to run free around the place on the farm, and you were quite safe. And the big shock came to me is when I went down to Shroove school, you were housed. And the very first day I went down there, and you were in there from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, you see. And you had to sit in a seat and keep quiet. Well, I couldn't put up with that. So on the very first day, I think, down in Shroove school, I waited till 11 o'clock. And I was only 4 and a half, and I waited till 11 o'clock, got my school bag, and headed up the road. And my grandfather met me coming in the gate. He couldn't believe it. There was no gate then, in fact. There was no gate. We were that poor, we couldn't afford a gate. But the one thing I hated at school was the hard questions. You remember the hard questions? You're always asked hard questions at school. And I was always looking out the window or doing something. And I have to tell you this, Frank Bresson's here now, and he'll verify this one. Because one day the teacher was asking a very hard question. He was asking the boys and girls, boys, I'm going to ask a religious question today. He says, who knocked down the walls of Jericho? You see? And I was looking out the window time. He says, Paddy McCartney, who knocked down the walls of Jericho? I turned around, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. See, I was very quick then. You see, and everybody in the school, laughed. Not like here, everybody. And the teacher, Frankie, was bent over double. He was convulsed. I was very embarrassed. But worse was to come, because who came in the afternoon? But the parish priest. And Frank Bresson couldn't wait, you see, to tell him. He says, Father, I was asking the boys and days, the girl, a religious question, who knocked down the walls of Jericho? And we, Paddy McCartney, says, he didn't do it, it wasn't him. And the parish priest says, well, I know the family. And they're a decent family. If he said he didn't do it, he didn't do it. Well, we passed the time rightly at school, you see, I had a best friend. You always have a best friend at school. And my best friend was John McGilloway. He's not here tonight due to health reasons. His wife would kill him. John was my best friend, and we kept each other going with jokes and carry on and all sorts of nonsense. We should have been studying the books, see, but we weren't. So that was my best friend at school. And we're going to sing a wee song now, and your part in this is very simple. Your part in this, because the chorus is very short. This will help you see the poor critters here at the front. See, the chorus goes, school days were fun days, but thank God for Saturdays and Sundays. And school days were the best days of our lives. Yes, isn't that lovely? I hope I remember this now. So this is the way it goes now. The wee airs, it's a very nice air too. Oh, school days were fun days, thank God for Saturdays and Sundays. School days, the best days of your life. Now it's not a lot. It's not a lot the first time you hear it, and there's 40 verses, so you're bound to pick it up. So there we go. That's the chorus. So here's the song now. It's a very nice song. It's a very sad song. I'll be crying during it. So don't get worried. My mother's out there tonight. So I've cleaned up a few of the verses. Here we go anyway. I remember I wasn't much older, maybe 4 or 5 at the most. Those go to school mornings were colder as we walked along by the coast. Our mother be searching for school bags and combing our hair the wrong way. She'd buttered our toast, buttoned our coats. Here's what my mother would say. Listen to your teachers this morning. Take in every word that they say. Education is easily carried, and it's bound to come in handy someday. Your class is the worst in the school, Patrick. Half of them can't read or can't write. That's only for starters, Mommy, because the other 3/4 didn't get any of their sums done last night. But school days were fun days, thank God for Saturdays and Sundays. School days, the best days of your life. Our young headmaster, Frank Breslin, a personal hero of mine. He introduced us to sports days and handball. He was a genius in his own lunchtime. He encouraged in me music and comedy, but the class laughed at me, sad to say. But I kept on singing and joking, and nobody's laughing today. But school days were fun days, thank God for Saturdays and Sundays. School days, the best days of your life. Oh, school days were fun days, thank God for Saturdays and Sundays. School days, the best days of your life.